want to earn more? Work less and enjoy what you do each day. It's no secret, it can be done. This podcast with Dr. T will not only educate and inspire you, it will also teach you how to do more and be more with the time you already have. It will be like a shot of adrenaline straight into the heart of your business. Here is your host, Tyson Franklin.
Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and welcome to this week's episode of It's No Secret with Dr. T. With me today is another repeat offender. It's good to get previous guests on to talk further because most of my guests have a lot of knowledge, and usually when you're talking for 30, 40, maybe even 50 minutes, you're really only just scratching the surface of what it is that they know. So who I've brought back today is Nicky Jurd. I can't remember the exact episode number that Nicky was on, but I will have it in the show notes so you can go and check it out. Today, I got Nicky back in because I'm sick, and now if you've got children in the car, you might want to put your hands over their ears, but I'm sick of all the bullshit that you keep hearing about SEO. I do a lot of coaching, and the amount of clients that I talk to who say, oh yeah, I'm working with this SEO company, they're now helping me with my SEO. And they're spending $500, $1,000, $2,000, $4,000 on SEO. And when I ask them, so what are you getting in return for that? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, they're doing my SEO. So I thought I'd bring Nicky on, who will sort of help clear this up a little bit more so we can sort of, I don't know, cut away some of the bullshit and just get to what the facts of SEO really are so that you can actually use this information and make your whole online presence better. So, Nicky, welcome.
Hi.
Back. How you doing?
It's so nice to be a repeat offender. I've never been called that before.
So let's get stuck straight into it. When people are talking about SEO, what does it they mean?
Well, a client once referred to it as Search Engine Optimism, which I thought was a pretty catchy term.
Instead of Search Engine Optimization.
But that's not what it is. That's it, yeah. Optimism instead of optimization. And in some ways, that's really quite true, if it is optimism. Because the world of search engines have a lot of mystery surrounding them. Old myths die hard, and that's why I think the industry has a really bad rap, because there's lots of charlatans that have operated in the search engine space, and they've given the good guys a bit of a bad name. So the industry as a whole suffers from a reputation problem.
Okay, so when someone says that they're working with a company and they're doing my SEO, what is it that the client thinks is actually happening, and what is actually happening? Or what's supposed to happen?
This reminds me of those photos you see in memes of how I think I look and how I actually look.
Yeah.
Because the two are pretty different.
Yeah.
So for most people who want to engage an SEO company to work on their SEO, what they're hoping for at the end of the day is more money in their till. That's usually what they want. And how they hope to achieve that is by getting more traffic from search engines.
Okay, so the
that's
idea
really
of
the nuts and bolts of it.
The idea is search engine optimization is to create more traffic, and then through more traffic, you'll create more sales, whether it's people coming into your business or buying something online.
That's right. That's exactly it.
Okay, so how is this company taking my website, for example, and saying, okay, we're going to make it more optimized so you're found? What are they actually doing?
So what they're trying to do is make the website more attractive to search engines. And these days, Google has such a high percentage of the market share. When we talk about search engine optimization, we're usually just talking about Google. We're not talking about Bing or Yahoo or any of the other tiny players. The big market share is Google. So what they're trying to do is make your website more relevant to people who are searching on Google for things like what you sell or like what you provide. So it's not just for e-commerce websites, it's for experts in the industry and service-based businesses and people just writing a blog. So search engine optimization is really a great service for any single website out there.
Okay, so what are they? Yeah, it does, but what are they actually? What are they doing?
What are the nuts and bolts?
What are the nuts and bolts of
doing?
it? So say, for example, you go to an SEO company and you're a dentist, or you're a podiatrist, or you're a dietitian, for example. You go to an SEO company who is not a dentist, not a podiatrist, not a dietitian. They're not in your industry. How does that company optimize your website better?
Right. So this is really the what sets apart the good SEO firms from the bad ones.
Yeah.
They're probably going to do a number of different things depending on the quality of your website and the type of customer you're trying to attract. So if we take the dentist example, a dentist in Brisbane can't really take somebody who lives in Melbourne. It's just not how the dental world works. Is they're looking for very localized searches for their clinic.
Yeah.
So for that reason, a dentist website and most services like that and tradies are looking for local SEO. So the search terms that they're going to want to appear for are their industry and their location. And for some locations, it's probably a whole bunch of things. Like you and I, we live in North Queensland in Australia, and there's so many different things we could call this place. We could call it the suburb we're in, which is Earlville. We could call it the town we're in, Cairns, or tropical North Queensland, or far North Queensland, or North Queensland, or just Queensland. There's lots of different locations that we could call this place. And so what a good SEO firm will do, first of all, is decide whether or not a particular company is targeting localized traffic,
Yeah.
or if they're targeting global or country-specific traffic. So let's move away from the dentist for a second, and maybe somebody who sells four-wheel drive parts online. So it's an e-commerce kind of a website, and they're probably selling to their country because all cars are different in each country. So I want to buy a new bull bar for my four-wheel drive. Then I might search for my car or the brand of bull bar that I'm looking to buy. And hopefully a website that's been optimized well, I'll be able to see that exact product on a four-wheel drive sales website and buy that bull bar in hopefully just 2 clicks. So that's what an SEO firm does first, is identify what kind of traffic is going to be of most benefit to this company.
Okay, before we go any further, you will initially have a meeting with this SEO person. So whether it's online, because you don't need to be face-to-face, but you will at least have some form of meeting with them. They will ask you questions about your business. Okay, once they gather this particular information, and ideally they want to know what is it that you want to achieve. What's your strategy? Where are you aiming? Where do you want to take your business? What are your goals? Do they then look at every single page on your website first and say you're local business, so you want local SEO and industry specific? Will they look at every one of your pages and make sure that that is right?
Yeah, they will. But a good SEO company, they'll be able to look at your website and know that in a couple of seconds.
Okay, so when somebody's paying an SEO company, $2,000, $2,500 a month, and that's supposed to be for their SEO, what are they doing for it?
So they'd be doing a whole bunch of things, but the large majority of their time initially would be spent making sure that the website has no technical issues that are preventing Google from getting to every page of that website and indexing all that content, and then going through every page of that website and optimizing it for a different set of keywords for every page.
Explain.
So there's all sorts of technical things that can prevent Google from valuing every page on a website really well. And usually that comes down to how code is written.
Yeah.
And so there might be some issues. So a really common issue we see is that the website loads really slowly. And we know that Google values fast loading websites and ranks them better. And so if a website is loading slowly, an SEO firm needs to deal with that problem first and foremost because it's a bit of a deal breaker. So they might recommend that the web developer changes the site software or moves the host, or all sorts of different things might be the problem behind the site speed. So they'd look first for technical issues like that, because those kinds of speed humps put a big brick wall in front of Google, and unless you deal with them, it doesn't matter what other work you do to your website, it's really not going to work nearly as effectively as if you take those brick walls down. Now, honestly, the list of technical problems are too numerous to talk through.
Yeah.
Just trust me that there's a bunch of them, and then a good SEO company needs to look at those first and foremost.
Somebody listening to this now, should they, if they've been using an SEO company and been paying a certain amount of money, should they be talking to them and saying, can you tell me, were there any technical issues? Is there like a list that people can go to look up technical issues, or it's just, it's like a foreign language? There's no point in them seeing the list because they won't make any sense. Because I know there's that speed test. I know there's a site you can go to where you can check the speed of your site.
There is. There's a few different tools that people can use actually to test things. So there's Google Search Console, for instance, that would give some specific errors. There's HubSpot, which will test a whole bunch of performance things around your website. Google has a site speed test as well as a mobile friendly test. So both of those are useful. Maybe what I might do is I'll give you a list of tests that you can put in the show notes. So people can just click on them, put in their website address and check all of those performance issues out.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Probably what would have happened is after they engaged an SEO firm, those technical issues would have been the first things they talked about. And most SEO companies don't actively work on those technical issues. They need to be handed over to a web developer mostly. And so chances are someone who's engaged an SEO firm has already paid a bit of money to have those technical issues fixed, if there are any at all.
Okay, so here's a good question then. So if I had engaged an SEO company and that SEO company at no stage asked who my web developer was, does that mean they have not done those tests?
No, it doesn't necessarily mean that, because the tests are publicly available for most part. So I could do a test on your website, for instance, and find out a whole bunch of performance-related issues without ever having to log in, just from a member of the public.
Okay.
But it's unusual because the next step that an SEO firm will do is generally around content. So writing content or adjusting the content that's already on the website. And that really does need access to the website. So unless you have access and can give that to the SEO firm and then they start tinkering with it, which is fairly uncommon. I don't see that very often happen, that clients are that well organized to be able to raise a new user for an SEO company.
Yeah.
And not only that is, when you have two different professionals working on the website, they really should know about each other, because they can accidentally undo each other's work depending on their internal processes. So
okay, so they could both be on the same page working on it. That would be unlikely, but that if somebody is going to an SEO company, they're getting them to write content for them, that they would be on the same page writing their own content at the same time. Oh, I suppose it could happen.
Not just content though. So as a really good example of something that I saw recently is an SEO firm was working on a website that made some content changes, and the company's web developer made some site updates to the overall website. But how they did that is they used a local copy of that website and uploaded it from an old copy that they had on their server. And so they overwrote their SEO's changes. Now, I'm not saying that that would necessarily happen often, but there's definitely a risk of things happening behind the scenes between those two technical bodies. So I would definitely make sure that if you're engaging an SEO company, that your web developer knows about it.
Okay, no, that's fine. So you've got to make sure your web developer knows about it. The SEO company is first going to just check speed and a few other technical issues with your website to make sure there's no roadblocks. So Google doesn't want to give you a right cross and an uppercut or punish you. Doesn't want to tie you down and whip you a few times and punish you for having a website that's not performing as well as what it should. So then what happens next?
Google uppercut.
Yeah, Google
I'm
uppercut.
Stealing that. So what happens then is generally the SEO firm would get very heavily involved in the content of the website. And that may be rewriting the existing content, so the pages, the text on those pages. So Google's biggest response factor, the best thing you can do for the optimization of your website is write stuff about your business. Primarily, you write about the things that you do, your services and your products, and go into good detail and write lots. Google loves content. It loves frequent, fresh content. So that's probably what your SEO company is going to be doing, is if you're not writing frequent, fresh content, they're going to do that for you.
Okay, so if you like writing your own content though, and you're doing a lot of, so you go, I just love to write. So you're writing a lot of content, you're putting it up there yourself. Where does that person use an SEO company?
The benefit in using an SEO company would be around strategy. So defining what it is you should be writing about, where are the gaps in your industry that other people aren't writing about,
Okay.
and where can you pick up new business, and also the nitty gritty of how to optimize a page well. So it's not just about writing keywords into the page. There is a bit of strategy around using different keywords, trying to pick keywords which we refer to as long tail keywords, that are ones that are not so competitive, and you're more likely to get really good rankings for those.
And people are searching for it.
And people are searching for it. Yeah, it's I've heard from a lot of people who have accommodation properties. So where I live and where you live, it's a tourist area, and we happen to have a beautiful rainforest nearby. And it's really common that people would use marketing speak to define what kind of a property they have. So they might have a rainforest treehouse, for example, but everyone is searching for a rainforest bed and breakfast. Nobody's searching for a treehouse. So it's really important to know what people are searching for and use those terms primarily.
Oh, so what you're saying is don't put rainforest treehouse if nobody's searching for a rainforest treehouse. It might be good. No one's using that one. Yeah. That's why no one's using it, because no one's searching for it.
Exactly. And this is a really sobering thing for any industry that has a lot of jargon, because typically you have to remove all the jargon from your writing, because that's just not what people are searching for. And in fact, Search Engine Optimization is a really good example, as lots of people search for high rankings on Google. They don't know that the industry is called Search Engine Optimization, so they search for high rankings. How do I get high rankings on Google?
Okay. So you've engaged the SEO company. They're now, let's say they're writing the content for you, or they're teaching you on how to write better content yourself. Mm-hmm. When people are paying an ongoing monthly fee, what is it they're expecting from that monthly fee? What should be happening? Or does it, of course it depends how much you actually spending each month. So if you're only spending $500 a month, you may not be getting too much at all.
So let's say you're spending $500 a month, for example. That's fairly entry level in Australia for SEO services.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to find services cheaper than that. So what would you be getting for $500 a month is probably that SEO firm is reviewing the text on your website. They're probably writing articles or blog posts about the things that you do for a living. And they're probably checking to see for any changes to your rankings over the performance in the last month. So they want to make sure that what they're doing is actually improving your website and bringing in more traffic. And specifically, it's bringing in traffic that's relevant to your business. So you want to bring in customers that's going to be buying from your services.
Okay, so
I'll give you a really good example.
Yeah, give us an example of what you mean.
So I have a client who is an outback photographer. And so she takes photos of people from the bush.
Yep.
And she has this fairly fantastic photo. It's a close-up of a really old farmer. He's got a very weathered face, and he's got a big hat on, and his name's George. And she started to take traffic in her website in fairly large volumes for George Bush photos.
Okay.
And so when somebody's coming to an Australian outback photographer's website when looking for a George Bush photo, they're not looking for that George. They're looking for probably George W. and they want a photo of their president. So that's how you can take traffic that's not necessarily relevant to you, isn't going to result in sales. It's just numbers. So your SEO firm needs to be bringing in traffic that's relevant to your business.
So how can they let you know, or how can you tell? So an SEO company might be saying, "Oh, we've brought 10,000 visitors to your website this month." How can you tell that they are quality? It's quality traffic compared to rubbish traffic.
Yeah, well, ideally you'll be able to tell by inquiries and sales. So that's hopefully the metric that you're seeing on your end.
Yeah.
If you're not seeing that metric, then usually you would ask your SEO some questions about what keywords you're being found for, how much traffic have you increased by, those kinds of questions.
Okay, so how does someone tell the difference between a good SEO company and a dodgy one? Or actually, I'll go back one step. So an SEO company, should an SEO company also be doing your Facebook advertising, your AdWords, your website? Should they be doing everything else, or should a SEO company be focusing on SEO?
Yeah, good question. Your first question is, how do you tell a good one from a bad one?
Yeah.
That's a really, really hard question to answer. In my case, I would try to go on reputation. So I would ask for, who have you worked with before? I'd jump on the phone to them and see if the results were good. I'd get quite personal about trying to find a good referral. And that's just because the industry is really full of a lot of dodginess. And so I want to hear from somebody who has a real operational website, that it made a difference to their website and it made a difference to their business.
Yeah, and it brought in money, because there's no point spending, whether it's $1,000 or $5,000, and it brings in no money. Like if you're spending $5,000 a month and it's bringing in $25,000 worth of business, then you'd be doing that every day of the week.
That's right.
You would just keep doing it. But I keep hearing more horror stories than I do positive outcomes. And I'm not saying, and I do know some people that do have good SEO companies. It's just unfortunate a lot of people I know don't know who they are.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm really reluctant to refer SEO companies that I've never worked directly with before, or I don't get to chat to personally, so I can find out a little bit about their methodology and make sure that they're doing things above board. So, look, honestly, all SEO firms are not created equally, so I don't have an amazing answer for you, except I would try to find someone who's worked with the company before and check that the results were okay. Now, your second question you asked about, should your SEO company be looking after your Facebook and your website and your Google ads and your YouTube and all that other stuff?
Yeah, watering your plants, feeding the dog, just doing absolutely. Yeah, because some of them just offer everything. And then I know other ones that they're an SEO company and they sit there and they work with your strategy and they write content and they all do videos and recordings and put that all together, and it's all part of your strategy and tactics, but they don't worry about doing any of the other stuff because they just want to focus on what they do best. But then I know other people, they'll be giving someone $1,000 a month. They go, oh yeah, that's for my Facebook ads, my Google ads, my SEO. And I went, geez, it doesn't leave much. It's spread pretty thin.
No, that's right. Yeah, look, I am a fan of the expert. So when engaging companies in all of those different spaces, I'll always choose someone who's a social media specialist, and I'll choose an SEO specialist and a Google Ads specialist. So in my case, I'll always seek out firms who just do the thing that I'm looking for, because they tend not to outsource those services then. Yeah. Whereas if you find an umbrella company that does a whole bunch of different things, then chances are some of those things are being outsourced to a company that does white label solutions. So it's one of the specialty companies that's working under the umbrella, and you're paying a bit more along the way. So that's usually how those services work. I am also a little bit uncomfortable with things getting outsourced to other businesses who I don't know who has access to my website. So I would prefer always to not go through a company who's then outsourcing a service, just because I like control over all my little bits and pieces. And if something bad happens to my website, I need to make sure I can recover it. That's the center of all my online marketing.
Yeah. So what happens with, like at the moment you've got, keep going.
I was going to say that we refer to those companies who can do everything in-house as unicorns.
Unicorns?
They're very, very infrequent, yeah. So most of the companies who have all of those services under the one roof, they're very, very rare.
Like a unicorn fart. You don't hear it very often. But if you do, it's spectacular.
That's right.
But so that leads me to, at the moment there's, there's these big companies now, like Local Search, Yellow Pages, Cairns Post. They're all pushing for that. Hey, come and see us, and we can do all your digital solutions. That's what they call it. And they will look after everything and water the plants and feed the dog. as part of their digital solution. So are you saying that these companies more than likely are outsourcing a lot of the work to overseas places?
No, some of those would have in-house services, but the quality of those services are not as good as the established experts.
Okay. Yeah. I often wonder about that. It's only, even with the Cairns Post, and I do like the Cairns Post. I am friends with the Cairns Post. So if anyone from the Cairns Post is listening to this, I'm not bagging you, but your art
Don't worry,
department.
they don't do SEO.
Okay. But their art department, on the other hand, well, there's been a few times where I've had ads done, and then I've spoken to the person at the Cairns Post and said, "What's going on?" I said, "Who is smoking pot in the office there and just not getting the job done?" And they've actually said, "Oh no, this is all outsourced. It's all pushed overseas, and there's someone overseas, and they're trying to interpret your English, and this is what they come up with." And I go, "Okay, now that I understand that, I'm no longer frustrated." But it's when you think you're dealing with somebody in a local office, and then it's going from that local office, and it's actually getting pushed overseas. It's being outsourced, and you get frustrated.
It's really frustrating when things go wrong, I think. The outsourcing model certainly has some great economic benefits, but when things go wrong, it's really hard to nail down who has responsibility and get something fixed. So as a really good example, I saw at a function last week that Telstra now does websites.
Okay.
I saw it on a pull-up banner, and I just thought one of the issues in our industry, in the website industry, is when you have your web developer work on your website, it takes a little while for them to do the work. Sometimes 1 day, sometimes 3 days, sometimes 3 months. But it's a really common complaint in our industry. Another really common complaint about Telstra is they don't get things done when you ask them to, and I can just imagine this is a recipe for disaster. Using a company that isn't great at the things that you're already frustrated about that industry.
And the things that they're supposedly good at. Like they're actually supposed to know telecommunications, and you have a problem with your phone. And like Christine had a problem at the shoe shop where they were trying to install the NBN, which we already had. And they're trying to install it twice. And there's all these arguments going backwards and forwards. So they're about to cut off the existing service to install this new service that Christine supposedly ordered that has no recollection of ever doing it when we already have it. And just went backwards and forwards. I don't know how many weeks and people that Christine spoke to until I don't know, eventually it got sorted out, and it took so long. So, I can just imagine the excitement of them doing your website for you.
Yeah, and look, SEO is a long-term strategy. So already you're not going to engage an SEO firm and have results next month. It doesn't really work like that. So you're looking at a 3 to 12 month strategy.
Okay.
And that wait is a frustrating wait already because the results don't flood in, they trickle in.
So if somebody's using an SEO company and say they've got a website that's only got 10 pages, that's all they really have, but they've got it, and maybe they don't have a blog. So straight away they need their SEO company to start creating fresh, regular content that's going onto the website that's optimized for Google to find them instead of Google giving them an uppercut.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. A company that only has 10 pages, maybe their budget of $500 would be excessive. Maybe they don't need to engage someone for an ongoing basis. Maybe they'd be able to instead engage someone to train them in-house as to what they could do with their own website.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So is that something where, like, there's I know a lot of smaller businesses listen to this show, and they go, I don't have a budget of a couple of $1,000s to do SEO. Can they engage someone who can teach them? This is what SEO is. This is the easiest way to get started to do your own SEO. Do you offer that service, Nicky?
I offer in-house training with our clients, but not so much for people who we haven't built their website. That's not really a service that we're looking to take up in the future. Yeah. But I can recommend somebody who is quite amazing. In Australia, we have a girl, her name is Kate Toon. I'll give you some links in the show notes as well, but she has a fantastic online course called The Recipe for SEO Success.
Okay.
And she's definitely not one of the charlatan varieties. She knows her stuff. She's got lots of free online resources as well, but the course is great for anyone who doesn't have amazing technical knowledge, but wants to supplement what they already know and improve their skills in that space. So instead of paying $500 a month, if you've got some time and you're happy to increase your skills, then I reckon Kate King's course would be the way to go.
Okay, that's great. That's what I wanted to hear, is just some options. But if people have got a bigger budget, then they start searching for an SEO company that they trust, then talk to other people, get referrals, get recommendations. Like I do know, I do know a couple of people, and I'll put some notes in the show notes of someone that I trust.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Matt Hannum, who's been on my show twice, and he has a company in Perth called Visible, and he's
one of the good guys.
And he's one of the good guys, and he was one of the guys that. Yeah, we were talking about this, and that's all they do is just that one small area. They're not doing all the advertising. They're not creating websites. They're just creating good, optimized content for people's websites.
Yeah, and if he's listening, you should tell him that I really, really like his logo.
His logo?
Yeah, I think his logo is really nice.
It's very similar to yours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, I was not inspired by his logo either. I was inspired by a theatre in Tokyo for my logo. So when I saw his, I was like, yeah, I like it a lot.
Okay, and that's one thing I forgot to do right at the beginning of this was actually, I just assumed everybody knew who Nicky Jurd was. Nicky actually has a website development business called Precedence, and she has about, 20 website people that are in this big room, and they develop websites all day. They're not in the back of a garage or under a stairwell locked in under a little door there. And they're actually relatively normal people. When you see them all as a group, they all look a bit strange when you've got them all bunched together. But when you see them all individually, they all look relatively normal. And but Nicky...
They're not relatively normal. They're hardcore geeks. They sleep under their desk and they drink a lot of coffee to stay awake. But they're my kind of people.
Yeah,
they're very, very, very smart.
Yeah, they're Nicky's geeks. And so, and the thing with, and Nicky herself, if Nicky does a lot of public speaking and does a lot of teaching in this particular space. So Nicky, if people want to get hold of you specifically, they go, this Nicky Jurd sounds pretty switched on. I want to talk to her a little bit more myself. Or, hey, we should get Nicky to come in and speak at one of our events. What's the best way of getting hold of you?
I think they should Google me. I think that's the spirit of today's podcast, is they should look for Nicky Jurd on Google. And if they can't find me, then I don't deserve it.
Oh, that's a good point.
But they can find me. I'm very prolifically found on Google, and you can find me on most social media networks. I'm one of the rare people around the world who's always able to get my own name as a username across all the social media networks. So yeah, I can be found prolifically online.
Okay, that's great. So, Nicky, I want to thank you for coming back on to It's No Secret with Dr. T. I know there's so much more we could talk about when it comes to SEO, but I just wanted to touch on some of the main points and just get people that if they're using an SEO company at the moment, is go and give them a kick in the ass if you don't feel you're getting the results. If they're not talking to you and not giving you information every month about how things are working, what they're improving, what they're changing, they're just taking the money and you don't hear from them until your contract runs out, then talk to some other people. Maybe it's time to change, or at least to go and talk to them and say, I'm not happy, I want some changes.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think SEO is one of the few contracted things where you really do want more information rather than less to find out what are the results. Are they going at a normal speed? Because, like I said, it's a trickle rather than a flood. Yeah. And how can you be involved in the success of the process? What can you do to make a positive change? Okay, that's cool. This has been awesome information once again, Nicky, and I'm sure I will get you back at some stage to be a serial offender. Woohoo! Woohoo! Thank you very much. Thank you.